What is it? Un, deux, trois, quatre.
A nudnik, a real bum.
The bad clowns freak him out.
It's some guy you know. It's some
It's
guy
a
you know.
podcast
It's some guy you
about
know.
some guy you
It's
know.
some guy you know. It's
If
some
you
guy
don't know,
It's some guy
then
you
you'll find
know.
out real
It's some guy you
soon.
know.
It's some guy you know. It's some guy you know. It's some guy you know. In it.
The of 60 Second Podcast is on the internet. I am David Johnson, and
I'm Jonathan. Oh,
I'm joined by the guy that cuts me off before I introduce him.
that's me, Jonathan Carlisle.
We are also joined.
We are
Fellas, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves? We're having a little thing here.
We're those guys from the Indiana Jones Minute. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Muffert.
And I'm Jerry Porter. Hooray!
Hooray!
Wow, you guys didn't interrupt each other at all. It's great.
No, we're pros.
We'll
get there one day.
We're seasoned.
Season.
We're
Yeah.
and we have nothing
Fine
to say.
steak. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we've got something to say about this Minute 5. We are back for Minute 5. Indiana Jones. Nope, it is UHF. Or Up.
Oh,
Up 60
But this is
seconds.
very much an Indiana Jones moment. So we start off with him staring at the idol and finish with him grabbing the idol.
Is this an early Mesoamerican K ride? The gong that's hanging there behind him as he walks in.
You know, what's fascinating is we see that, and you actually, I believe it was in Last Minute, you hear a gong strike.
Mm-hmm.
Was it? Yeah, you hear it like a, and I'm like, what is it about this thing where everybody thinks this is a gong, myself included? You know what I mean? I mean, it just, you're like, why is that? It's some sun symbol. And that's all it is. And I mean, in Raiders, we talked about this, and you're like, it's just some sun symbol or idol or something from a temple that's just, I always figured was just sort of cast off in the corner, or, but here that you see that as sort of a poor replication, and
Hey.
you hear a gong. I don't get it. And I don't know about this, but I don't really... I mean, of course, the gong they use is like a Chinese wing gong, kind of like the one that's, in the beginning of Temple of Doom. It's sort of what you would think of when you think of a gong, that sort of thing, that noise that it makes. But I don't think Mesoamericans had gongs. Or South Americans.
I think maybe the way it's wove in there, like, to me, when I'm glancing at that, it looks like it's suspended. It doesn't look like it's part of a structure necessarily. It looks like it's being suspended. Right. So, I guess it may be the fact that I watched this movie when I was younger, and hearing the gong just made me think that's what it was for. But it kind of looks to me like it's made for motion. So if someone strikes it, it's not just going to crisp off there.
I think you're right. It's because it's in a frame.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But are you guys suggesting that the gong we hear on the soundtrack is that gong, or is not that gong?
Well, the guy that lost his arm could have picked his arm up and come back and hit it with his arm.
Well, he only needs one arm. I mean, it was either Guide 1 or, I guess, the drummer from Def Leppard.
too soon.
Too soon.
But so you're saying that...
I have no idea. A gong makes no sense here. But there's all sorts of things in movies that make no sense that are those incidental noises. That we talked about it, like gongs, that damn bird that goes caw. We hear that all over the place in movies. It's I heard it last night in E.T. We were talking about that. Yeah, it's all over the place. But I have to say, just throughout this entire minute 5, I'm very impressed with their sort of shot-to-shot redo of Raiders.
Yeah.
I'm kind of serious. This looks to me like they actually took a still from Raiders and they just pasted Weird Al on it. Am I crazy?
I was wondering that too. It looked like a green screen to me almost.
Yeah, and they have this big boulder blocking his feet on the stairs, so you can't see that they're not hitting the stairs.
Yeah, they built the sets are miniature actually, and he's projected. The sets are projected, and he's on a stage. So you can see when he.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so you can see when he walks up the steps, he takes one more step than there are steps to step up. But you can't actually see his feet because of that boulder, as you say. But yeah, the sets are built in miniature, actually.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's
that's
cool.
crazy. Yeah, I'm watching it now.
I've also seen some of these faces Caleb was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now we finally get to see him.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, Caleb! It's going to be his birthday when this episode drops.
Oh, nice.
And not the day that we're recording. Not at all.
Well time.
Well, I'm just wondering, why is the Oscar always hiding his privates?
He's guarding them.
It's like a soccer. It's like a penalty kick.
Yeah.
This Oscar definitely is, but the actual Oscar is holding a sword, and they had to change this. The statue isn't an exact replication because they had some legal situations.
Oh wow! I was curious about the this whole scene coming up though, because we talked a lot about in Raiders how much the idol would weigh and how much, like, if Indy's bag of sand would have been anywhere near enough. And I found out that the Oscar statues weigh 8.5 pounds. It's solid bronze, but plated with 24 karat gold. And then I made the assumption that the bag of sand he's got is 5 inches tall by 4 inches wide by 4 inches deep, which would be 80 cubic inches, and that would weigh about 4.5 pounds. So I think his sand is about 4.5 pounds too light.
Well, the statue doesn't have the sword, so maybe that matches up with the...
So yeah, maybe the sand's exactly right, yeah.
Yeah, this is it's kind of a funny spoof, I guess, that he just tosses it away, but at the same time, it's kind of reminiscent of Indiana Jones himself when he gets tired of the swordsman and just pulls out his gun.
Yeah.
Right.
He knows when to just give up.
Is Luke Skywalker throwing the lightsaber over his shoulder an homage to this?
It is now.
Well, that movie does have at least one other homage to this movie, so that's good. The whole take that ridiculous thing off.
That's right.
Well, the interesting thing is both Indy and Weird Al get this wrong. No one has successfully gotten the idol. At least they haven't fooled the temple.
Uh-huh.
So is there a right way to do it?
We've talked about this. I don't know if what we say, Pete. It was too heavy. It was way too light.
Yeah, the idol in that, like a solid gold idol, would have been like 70
it would be
pounds.
A lot.
Yeah,
it would be way heavier. So I don't know. Like I think this is gonna sound strange, but when I originally saw Raiders and he put the sandbag and he did this flip, I always thought it was just the fact that even for a split second there was no weight on the tripstone or whatever, the pedestal little thing. I figured that's what it was. It wasn't so much, is it this weight or that weight? It was just like there was a moment where there was nothing on the pedestal, and that's what tripped it. But that's just always that was my own little headcanon. I don't know. I don't know what the right way to do it is to pay your little ticket and go see it in the museum.
I guess the interesting thing is that these guys came together. They made a movie that spoofs other movies. So full disclosure, so we've got this character, his real name is George Newman, and he's daydreaming all of this stuff. So getting into his head a little bit, this guy has seen Raiders, and now he's daydreaming himself into a situation in which he's, the Academy Award is the prize. I'm just trying to figure out, like, was there, besides just being a silly prop, was he trying to say anything about UHF winning an Academy Award, or was this like some other kind of spoof on the Academy Award itself? Like he throws the sand over his shoulder, like it's not worth it.
Or is he saying something about Raiders because Raiders won several Oscars, didn't it?
You're talking to the wrong guy.
Yeah, we just watched the movie.
Just silence.
Oscars?
Furiously Googling. Yeah.
Well, it did. I think it won for art direction, sound editing, Ben Burt.
Oh, sure.
Right.
I hope so.
Best 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah. Yeah, it won 5 of them. And it was up for Best Picture and Best Director. It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Musical Score.
Now, how many was UHF up for?
Well, they just took the Oscar. They didn't need to be up for anything.
Yeah.
They didn't even show up at the ceremony. I like that Al is Al Yankovic as a writer. Written by Al Yankovic. Like they don't
I
put
didn't
the
know
weird
that.
in. He's only weird as
Yeah,
an actor,
yeah.
or as a
The
performer.
writing is
Yeah.
very straightforward.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because when they put Weird Al, it's in scare quotes, but when they put Al, it's just Al.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they should put Al in quotes.
Yeah. Al.
Hey guys, this is Al.
When he does the move with his hand, the Indy move across his face, does Indy do it with the same hand?
Yes.
His right, I guess he does. His right hand, yeah.
Yeah, this is all pretty much exactly the same.
Shot for shot, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: as he approaches the pedestal, he's holding his left hand very awkwardly. Is that something that Harrison Ford was doing?
I noticed that when I was watching this, and I don't remember. You know what? He pulls the sandbag out of his jacket, whereas Indiana Jones pulls the sandbag out of his satchel. So maybe his left hand here is like holding the bag inside.
Oh, it totally is, and it
Oh,
looks
yeah, you're
super
right.
awkward when you're paying attention to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. God, why the hell would you go all the way to Oofland or wherever it is that they are and with the bag, the sandbag under your left arm?
It's like you wake
God,
up in the
that's
morning and you're
weird.
like, oh, I forgot my satchel.
Maybe that's why he hasn't
It's-
said
it
anything
almost-
this whole time. He's like barely
He's
reacting to anybody because he's like,
concentrating.
I gotta hold this bag. I can't lose it.
Maybe Al is lopsided, and that balances him out.
That's he has that. It's like a ballast.
Who is this guy? There's a like a statue. It looks like Otto von Bismarck. I don't know who this is behind when you're facing Al.
Oh,
on,
yeah.
on the right of the screen. It's like a statue of a Prussian general or something.
I know exactly what you. Yeah, it's like it's a profile shot of the face.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a Power Ranger. Isn't there one of them that's dressed as a cat? Isn't there a golden one? Am I thinking of something else?
There's a yellow one.
Yeah, a yellow one. Is that one a cat?
I don't remember.
It's okay. No one has to answer that. It's fine.
Yeah. As far as that profile, you get the straight on shot at the beginning of the minute when he's walking up to it, but it still doesn't really give us any more clues than anything.
Growing up, I kind of just always thought of Friday night, and you're going to order Little Caesars and watch this. Does anybody else know what I'm talking about?
Sure. It's
Yeah.
like you wander down to the video place and you're like,
Yeah.
we could watch Cobra, we could watch Nightmare on
Yeah.
Elm Street 3, we could watch UHF, and it doesn't almost doesn't matter what you're going to watch, but it's going to be fun because you're renting a movie. Like an
And
American.
it comes, but I feel like this specifically comes with Little Caesars.
Yeah.
Which for some reason I haven't, like, if you get this movie, it also comes with Little Caesars. if you were to rent this. And
Little
like a
coupon
cheese
inside.
stick. What are the cheesy bread is what are the weird the little
crazy
weird
bread?
sticks
Oh,
they
yeah.
come with? Crazy bread.
Crazy
Thank
bread.
you. Yeah. which by the way is like bread with like Parmesan cheese on.
So you get the movie with Weird Al, and then you can get the crazy breadsticks.
You know what's weird? In Canada, there's a place that was called Pizza Pizza, and it had that guy.
Oh,
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, it was very strange. It was absolutely Little Caesars, but they just called it Pizza Pizza. And that was his catchphase in the States.
yeah.
It's very
that's
weird.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe Canada has no notion or understanding of the history of Rome or Italy. Why
Oh,
would
maybe, yeah.
Caesar? Why would that not
Little
translate?
Caesars. Of course I Caesar. She's right there.
Well, Jesus. The other thing is, like, does that work? You're like, oh, you buy one, you get one free. You're like, or you could just cut the price in half.
Oh, that's right. Every single one came
Yeah,
with
it's
a
like,
free
oh, you
pizza,
bet-
right? Like every pizza came
No,
with a
that
free
was the
pizza.
whole pizza.
Yeah.
Is if you buy one, you get one free.
Did anybody ever
Oh,
just buy one
weird.
pizza? Like, was it
No,
no?
you
I just want one.
can't. No, they give you two.
You try to sneak out of there with only one.
Yeah, you
Get back here.
they give you two.
You make it out to your
And
car,
I
and
don't
there's
really
somebody sitting in there with the
Yeah.
pizza.
I think
Yeah.
you're missing something.
I mean, what's fascinating to me is, I mean,
Yeah.
it was inexpensive pizza, but what was fascinating, that was their whole marketing thing, is if you buy one, you pay for one, but we give you a free one. And you're like, huh.
Yeah, I think that works.
I mean, I don't know.
I think that works once, but I find it weird when I go into a store and they say like, well, it's $5 for one or it's $15 for three, You're like, well, that's you're just doing math for me, but that's not actually doing anything.
Right.
Do you guys have any history with this movie, or did we just drag you in here to force you to watch these minutes?
I saw this in the theater, actually, when it came out.
Wow.
Oh, really?
I believe at the Avon Theater in Stamford, Connecticut. Yeah.
Were you the only one?
I was with a friend.
Oh, okay.
No, there were a few people there. I actually don't remember, but it was fun. I have fond memories of it. It was a good. It was a hit and miss. Not everything landed, but a lot of it was. I was sort of on Weird Al's side. Like he can do something that's really stupid, but it comes across as funny. Because that. Yeah. It's just kind of where he's coming from.
I love Weird Al.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. He's just. I actually feel a little bit like guide number 2. I feel like I kind of got dragged in a little bit, and then I got hit by a train. That's essentially my history with this movie.
Well, I go all the way back to I think last Thursday with this first 11 minutes or so of this movie, and I'm literally just gonna have to watch along with you guys because I have not seen the whole movie yet.
Oh wow.
I've seen the Raiders section and I've seen the Close Encounters section. Well, so I'm assuming there's some Jaws and 1941 and who knows what else. E.T. coming up.
Yeah, Duel. Right. There's a big Duel section.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
That would be actually really good.
Well, I'm excited to hear what you think about it. I don't know. Sometimes when you watch things as a kid, you have no idea what somebody who's watching it as an adult. I don't know if I could look at this as in a fresh adult brain. I don't know. I don't know if I want to, but.
Well, that's what's amazing about Weird Al is when you're a kid, you're like, man, this guy understands me. I mean, he's got facial hair and everything, He's like, I guess he's an adult, but he gets me.
Oh, hey, something's coming in over the wire. This just in from Mandy Johnson. This is more of a comment than a question. I wonder if Indiana was practicing for a razor commercial during these 62 seconds. It's clear he is pleased and impressed with the close shave his razor provided that morning.
Yeah.
So
So I
can see
think Ms. Johnson is listening in to what you're saying, Jared.
And no Oscar for the 5 o'clock shadow here.
I guess if it's that close of a shave, then what is on his face? Then do you just rub some dirt on his face? Because it's a little shadowy.
Yeah.
However, if you go back to the very beginning of this, the very first second, we talked about the his bald spot in the middle of his mustache, but the lighting at the beginning of these seconds makes it look like he's got a very robust mustache, especially in the middle.
Robustache?
Robustache.
Robustache.
What was that called? The frenulum?
Frenulum, yeah. I don't really want to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about we've got 2 producer names on there. Hold on a second. I am completely baffled how you got my wife to send something in.
Well, no, that was thanks to the lovely and talented and wonderful Tabitha Carlisle.
Oh, okay.
Collected a couple of these. Yep.
Yeah, which I'm baffled about. I didn't know about any of that stuff. So,
produced by Gene Kirkwood, John Hyde. John Hyde also produced Neverending Story, Short Circuit, Flight of the Navigator, The Lost Boys.
Wow.
Wow, my childhood.
Very, very busy. Yeah, very busy in the 80s.
What about Mr. Kirkwood?
Yeah, he produced a couple things. He actually, after his UHF producing credit, he doesn't have another producing credit again until 1996. So.
Just took a break.
Yeah, but prior to this, he had produced Rocky, so he was a pretty established producer as well. He has resurfaced. I don't know if anybody's seen the recent HBO documentary about Dr. Dre and the other producer whose name is escaping me right now. The Defiant Ones, super good miniseries on HBO. He produced that. From their IMDb credits, it looks like both these guys had kind of a dry spell after this movie, unfortunately.
Oh boy.
So did Orion.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just so loaded they retired. That's it. We're done.
Nailed
Mic drop. Yeah.
They took all $5 million that this was budgeted for and ran with it.
Kind of.
Who I'd never heard of Jay Levy before.
The director?
of
Yeah.
the film. Yeah.
So that's Weird Al's manager.
Oh, okay.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, Weird Al.
Weird Al.
Yeah. And Jonathan, you may know better than I. Didn't Jay also direct most of his early music videos?
Yeah. This movie was definitely a good partnership of Al's team. Jay Levy is he actually shows up later in the movie. He has a nice little cameo, which I don't know if he's very proud of or maybe he's embarrassed about. But yeah, I think they're a pretty tight knit group, and I'm not sure what he did after this. You know, if he did anything more of this stature, or if he just kind of stuck around to managing and that kind of thing. I have not looked at him too extensively, but because I was planning on bringing him up later too, so we'll still have time to bring up more Jay Levy facts. Well, you guys want to tell us one last time, or tell the listeners one last time where they can find you?
Why, yes, everybody should come on over after listening to Oof and join us at IndianaJonesMinute.com. That's we're already up to the Last Crusade, so we've swam through Raiders and Temple of Doom, and there's a lot of crazy ass stuff. So it's a lot of fun. We also have a Facebook page where we interact, and there's all sorts of silly questions. It's Indiana Jones Minute Listeners Crusade. So you can find us all on there.
Excellent.
I love this.
We got to figure out what's our telltale ending. Actually, I know what it is for minute 5. It should just be meh. That's what he does with the sandbag.
Yeah.
Meh.
Well, we got Fran Drescher, so we could do a meh.
Is that what she sounds like?
Well, before we just toss it and walk away, I should mention that you can find Jonathan and I at UHF60second.com. You can find us on the Twitter at UHF62ND. And you can email us all kinds of things at UHF60second@gmail.com.
Yeah.